Hey, folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. This video for Thursday, September 8th, 2011 is sponsored by Realtik. Alright, let's get right into the mix here. The markets are trading slightly lower on the day. It's a little bit of a consolidation day after such a big rally yesterday. Yesterday we had a 200 plus gain on the Dow, close to 300. NASDAQ was up huge, basically 2 to 3% across the board on the indexes, and the markets today seem to be pausing. Now, why are they pausing? Well, first off, we hit a key level, and I want to show you this level because I think it's amazing. It's actually a key level of a gap fill going back to the end of August, or right at the beginning of September. September 1st, in fact, right there. The 120.92-ish level is a gap fill from September 1st. The pivot high of today, 120.94. We pierced it by by 2 cents. So a 2-cent pierce beautifully there does a gap fill. That's your top on the markets. In addition, there was actually a fake print there, which those of us that are members here at InTheMoneyStocks.com, we know that those key levels, those key fake prints have a 90% chance of playing out. So basically what this was telling you, when you got this fake print and you sold off down here, the market was 90% likely to go back to that fake print. It's amazing how these fake prints work out. In any case, the market today is just pausing here. We have the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 70 points, NASDAQ down 10, S&P down about 8. That's basically a 0.5%, give or take a little bit on the indexes. After a 2 to 3% gain yesterday, that is actually a very nice pullback. The markets got word from Bernanke right here, and you can see what happened. Right around here, Bernanke came out at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time and decided to give a little bit of a talk. We knew about this talk a couple days ago, that he was going to be talking a little bit. His comments were just nothing new. There was absolutely nothing new. It's basically wait until the Fed meeting, which I believe is September 21st and 22nd, and then you'll get some more information. So the markets, there was some buying ahead of that in hopes that he would unveil something a little bit newer, give us some new information. Ultimately, that did not happen, and the markets just saw a little bit of selling here. It wasn't any major selling. It's not like the markets are crashing down today. In fact, we're going sideways, kind of chopping now on the downside, but it was more that a lot of people, a lot of traders had bought in hoping for some positiveness to see the market spike up dramatically. When that didn't happen, what they did was they basically just sold their positions, and that took the market down here. All right, now interestingly enough, you can see in the morning session we hammered against the 200. Guess what? Hammering against the 200 moving average again. So very nice to see that, folks. And again, a nice little float lower here. Markets are starting to turn down. You have a minor in spirit of bear flag here. So we may go test this low of the day. And there's even a small possibility that we could get down to this little bit of a level. This will be the next level if we take out the lows of the day that gets tagged. That's at 118.75. And then gap window would be 118.50. So it's a possibility that we go down. But again, the volume is very, very light today. All eyes at this point are on President Obama's speech tonight. I believe it's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's done on purpose because before the NFL season debuts and kicks off tonight. So again, he's putting his speech a little earlier than usual to make sure he gets as many viewers as possible on the TV. All right, but again, markets are down slightly on the day. Dow is down about 88 points now as we dip just a little bit more. This is again a consolidation day off of a very impressive move yesterday. Interestingly enough, you could almost make a case for an in spirit of head and shoulders here. Take a look right there. There's your little bit of an in spirit of head and shoulders, which technically is in play from this neckline right there. And this actually plays out. Let me just see the target here from about 121. We'll call it down to 119.50, and then from 120 to 118.50. 118.50 would be the target, which is interesting, folks, because the target on that head and shoulder pattern would actually go right to gap window. So I don't know if we get there today or maybe tomorrow we touch that level. But again, either way, I'm looking at it like this. The market will have future downside and a lot of it. But in the short term, the volume is very light. The president's speech, tomorrow's Friday, I do think the markets have a chance to kind of hold up, maybe even go a little bit higher before next week. And then once we get into mid next week, then it starts to get a little hazy, and I think you might see some significant downside. One other little idea here that I want to just point out, you have a major head and shoulder pattern here as well that I want you to be aware of. See this right here? This is the 60-minute chart going back to early mid-August, and look at this move up, down, up, and then starting to come down. This could be a head and shoulder pattern, and believe it or not, folks, if this head and shoulder pattern on the 60-minute chart, which you can see on the daily as well, but it's much clearer on the 60-minute, if this pattern plays out, the markets at some point next week and the following week will start to sell sharply, and you will take out this trend line. Once this trend line gets taken out, target is 104.50 on the SPY. So again, short term, I'm kind of neutral to like positive on the markets. Very short term, meaning the next couple trading days. But if you scan out more than a couple weeks here, I do think the markets have a major fall in line, and I want to give everyone a heads up of that. And what you want to do is join the research center, folks. I want you to join the research center and take the free trial. Take the free trial, which is a 7-day free trial. Get the turn cycle date coming up. Get the new hidden gem, which I'll publish shortly. And again, get nightly videos, market analysis, trade alerts, you name it. It's all inclusive. It's a 7-day free trial. You can also take a 7-day free trial of the intraday stock chat. All right? The intraday stock chat as well. All right, so that's what we have going on here. Markets, again, just dipping a little bit, bouncing up already. You can see they're holding that 200. And, again, you have a small in spirit of bear flag here. Again, the dollar is having a pretty solid day here. Dollar's actually been soaring. I'm surprised the markets aren't down a little bit more. Look at this dollar today. Now, again, the dollar partially is up because of what happened in Europe. England had an interest rate decision. So did Europe. And Trichet basically making some very, very dovish comments, which drove the euro down. And when the euro goes down, remember, the dollar will go in the opposite direction. Currencies float against each other, so if one's going down, then another one is going to be going up against that currency in terms of valuation. So please be aware of that as well. Gold today bouncing back in a beautiful way, although it's gone choppy sideways all day. Yesterday there was that huge drop. Today a huge bounce back, and I'll tell you, this is one of those charts that some of my traders in the chat room that are a little newer, they're like, "Oh, how do I trade it? How do I trade it?" There's no way to swing trade this chart on gold right now. You're going to get crushed if you do it wrong. You got to sit back, wait for the right pattern, price, and time to align, and then once they align, that's when you step up and rock it for major profits. I played gold on the short the last time we hit up here, and if I go to my 60 daily chart, I shorted it right up here, folks, right up in this range, and banked a ton of money on the downside. Since then, I haven't seen a significant pattern that's worth trading. If I do, of course, I'll give that alert to the Research Center members without a doubt. All right, so that's what we're seeing there, folks. Let me just take a look at the USO today. The USO is basically flat on the day, which is actually nice. I mean, it's hanging in there. A little bit of a bear flag here, but again, spot crude is going to be closing for the day, so I don't know if that will play out towards the end of the day. But you do have a little bearish pattern. See the downward move right here in spirit of bear flag with two moving averages on top. If we had a little bit more time in the day for oil, I would like this as a downside short right now. But again, because of that, it's probably not a good one because spot crude closes at 2:30 p.m. and it's just electronic trading after that, which is usually very, very light. All right, let's go back to the SPY and just take a gander here. Spiders are starting to inch down again. Look for this little pivot. Remember, if this head and shoulder plays out, your target's 118.50. That would be the low end and probably a great scalping opportunity for a long. I'll probably play that in the intraday stock chat should it get hit. Take care, guys. Come take the 7-day free trial here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. Make some money with the pros. Take care.